Welcome to another week of The Chronic Dieter. Josh is not with me today because it's been kind of a crazy, hectic week, so we haven't had much time to record. This week's actually, it's okay that he's not with me because it's kind of a hard thing for me to talk about, but I feel like it's a good thing to bring up, especially if I'm, having a whole bunch of people with me on this journey and putting it out there. So I'm actually going to just start with the year 2016, and that was when me and Josh started to do our first weight loss journey together, and we were pretty successful, actually. I lost about 50 pounds that year, and he lost 30, 40-ish, I can't remember, and we did really well. It was great for us. And then 2017 hit, and I had been struggling with just what I thought was just the downers. I thought, I was just adjusting. We moved in 2015, and my income had changed, and it was just a whole bunch of things that I thought that I blamed it on. And then I thought, well, maybe it's because I'm not healthy. And then I lost weight, and I still was feeling this way. So 2017 was the year of kind of enlightenment, because I actually acknowledged and admitted to myself that I had depression and I needed to see somebody about it. And that was when I started the first rounds of therapy. And silly me thought that therapy was just kind of a one and done thing. And when I say one and done, it was 6 months of therapy, and I was like, I'm cured. And so I kind of went with that. Also, 2017 was kind of the year where I had to get used to Josh being on the night shift, and I wasn't seeing him as often. I was feeling very insignificant, and it wasn't his fault. It was just, this is what was piled on. I felt insignificant, and then I started feeling indifferent to these type of feelings too. So it became a huge problem, and by the time 2018 hit, I didn't realize how deep it had gotten, how deep I had spiraled into this feeling of how unimportant I was. And in May 2018, I had a plan to kill myself, and I had kind of squared away everything. I had given my passwords and my email passwords and all that to my best friend, and I spent days with my kids and tried to make things special, and I made sure bills were paid on time. I tried to really prepare for this, because I thought, in my mind, I thought for sure that the first feeling that my family would have after discovering me or what I had done would be relief, because I thought I was such a burden, and and I was so insignificant. Over the course of that time, I gained a little bit of weight back. It wasn't extreme, but I had actually lost too. I was kind of maintaining. And here's why: is because I would starve myself because I didn't feel like eating, and I felt that eating would make things worse. And I would get to the point where, so starve myself meaning I would have about 500 calories a day, 500 to 800. And I thought losing weight would make me feel better, but it made me feel pretty much nothing, because I wasn't feeling anything at the time. And so did that, and then I would get to the point my body couldn't take it anymore, so it would just eat everything and anything in sight, ongoing. And I would eat so much past the point I was full, past the point I didn't want, and then I would, to feel something, like maybe even if it was feeling disappointed in myself for letting, myself do that. And even that didn't get me to feel anything. So I was struggling with food at the same time I was struggling with me. And luckily my husband, so Josh caught me self-harming and took me to the hospital, and I spent a weekend on suicide watch. And that was when I woke up a little bit. It wasn't like all of a sudden, because it never is, but I woke up a little bit, enough to put myself out there, because I realized that the reason why I was struggling so hard with these feelings was because I was not saying them out loud. I was saying them to myself. And depression has a way of making you feel like you shouldn't talk about it. It's a piece of duct tape, really. Depression's a piece of duct tape that just slaps itself over your face, and you've got to rip it off, and it's gonna hurt. And just so that you can talk to people about it. And anyway, fast forward. Obviously I'm here and I'm still in therapy, which is good. And actually me and Josh are in marriage therapy, and it's worked wonders for our relationship, and for me too, to understand that, some things are not about me, and it's been great. So now that things have kind of, I haven't learned to overcome depression. I don't think there is. This is just something that I live with. And now it's just living with it in a very healthy way, and that's how I have to take on depression, and my mental illness. It's just something I live with every day, and I need to live with it in a healthy way. So when I start feeling that spiral, I automatically tell somebody about it so that it doesn't get worse. So this December 2019, I was still, even though my mental health was progressing, I was still in that pattern of starving, and then binging. And I wasn't sure how to get out of this cycle. I went and saw a doctor, and she said, you know what, I really think that this is BED. And if you don't know what BED is, that it stands for binge eating disorder. And it's not, I have a bit mild case of it. I binged maybe 1 to 2 times a week. But now I have something, because I wasn't sure. I think that's why I struggled so hard with my weight loss before, was because I had no idea how to approach it. And the examples I've seen of significant weight loss in my own personal life just didn't work for me. And I wanted something that worked for me. And so now that I know, though, I kind of, just like with depression, I've acknowledged it. Now I know I can live with this. This isn't the end all be all. I can live with this in a healthy way too. And that's what I want to do. And that is my goal for this year, is to put my health at the very, very top of my priority list. I had always just shoved it back there. It was always, on my goals, lose weight. It was always on my goals, but it was never the top of my priority list. It was always, I'm a writer, so it was always, write this many words, or write this many books, do this many releases. Or I run an editing company too. I would be like, fill your schedule, do more advertising, hire another person. But as I was talking to my doctor and to my therapist, I realized that if I take care of my health, those other things will fall in line and in place a lot easier than they have been. And I will be a much, not, I don't want to say happy because I am happy, but I'll be a more, maybe, I'll just be a healthier version of myself. And that's what my goal is, and that's what I want. And I don't want to feel insignificant, and I don't want to equate being overweight as insignificant. And so it's a journey of health, and it's a journey of, positive body image and self-worth and all of these things. And so yes, my goal is to lose weight, but my goal is so much deeper than that. And somebody out there that I've never met might feel exactly the same way that I have, or has been in the position that I've been in. And even if it's not exactly the same, they may feel the same exact things, and they need to know that they're not alone, because you're not. There are so many people out there who struggle with depression, who have struggled with suicidal thoughts and ideations, and there are so many people who have come out of it too. And so that is also part of health and the journey that I want to be a part of. I hope that this wasn't too overwhelming or too triggering for you. And I will put in our weigh-ins. Yeah, we'll see you next week.